So our run responsibilities for our D-line. So the main thing with our run responsibilities for the D-line is it's 3 guys to eat up 5. So, when I was first getting into being a defensive coordinator, I wanted to run a 3-3 stack defense. So I went up and, I Chad Hetlett up at Glenbard West, I learned a ton from him and his defensive line coach, and this was their big thing, 3 guys to eat up 5. So when we practice defensive line drills, we start out with that. If 3 guys can eat up 5, then we're doing our job. Being a former defensive lineman, I love working with working with the guys in the trenches, and with our defensive line coach, they do a great job teaching technique. So when we work with them on their technique, it's how not only what their job is, but how they attack the offensive lineman. Teaching them when we teach them, we teach them how defensive line coaches would coach theirs in a stag defense. All D-line are spill players. So you're never going to see our defensive end sitting and shuffling down and reading to see what the quarterback is doing. Their job is to get their hands on the tackle and then chase down the running back. So if they feel like they're getting read and if they didn't get their hands on the tackle, they're not doing their job. 2, if they for some reason didn't get their hands on the tackle, then they need to run the heel line and spill everything. The terminology that I've used for a defensive line is don't get pushed off the cliff and don't run off the cliff. So if you run too far upfield and you get trapped as a defensive line player, you're not doing your job. And you're going to have a hard time playing in our system. So getting our hands on the offensive tackle is a big deal for both our tackle and our defensive end. And then obviously you don't want to get pushed off the cliff because creates bubbles and, not really friendly for the guys playing behind you. When we label our second level blitzes for Mike, Buck, Will, and Sam, we have one blitz for each gap. So you guys can see here, A gap, we're going to label that with some sort of A name. We used attack. Backside A, we used cross. I know that doesn't start with an A, but it was easy for our nose guard and backer to understand. B gap was blast. Backside B was bang. C gap was crash. And D gap blitz was dart. And then we made a lot of hay off of doing like a switch blitz, which we call flip. And sometimes we would use similar to tags to what we used for our first level of movements. We would use similar tags to basically determine, we want this particular backer to go. I know that I want our field outside backer to be blitzing on this play because based off of tendencies, we think that that's where they're going to go. We think they're going towards the H-back. We think that their run play is going to take us opposite of where the H-back is lined up or opposite of where the running back is lined up. So it's kind of nice because we could label a tag and then call the blitz with that as well. Like I said, similar to our first level movements, we want the kids to play fast. So are they the most creative names? No, but at the end of the day, if our kids can line up and execute the blitz, that's the most important thing.